Peace FM 104.3. Who to meet Taki?
Kweku, let me start with one of your favorite topics. Now, you want to start?
Now, I mentioned 2 weeks ago. I agree. Kweku, can you different topics?
Oh,
Peace FM.
No production catch him. This is Isaac. I'm there. Some Jonah. Anyona. Sam Jonah.
Me cross me.
Come
One aspect
and then
of topic now.
under our executive words, too much power.
That is a long-standing theory. Some people, a school of thought, I believe in. It's not peculiar to Mr. Jonah, who is let me do a disclosure. Very, very, very close friend of mine, senior friend of mine, a long-standing one, somebody I have huge respect for. I think he's an elder statesman. I think he's done his bit for this country, and maybe I'm trusting 100%. On there, BB or Bacano. Yes, I mean exactly, and he wouldn't even like that, Into that school of thought is there. In fact, a lot of the civil society organizations, good governance groups have been saying that during the Constitutional Review Commission, it's an issue that came up, and it was thoroughly examined. The relationship between the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, and the role of the media, and then how many appointments the president told to me and all those things. I'm for executive presidency. Yes. That's what I've been for all my life. Yes. Try the Westminster one, maybe. Try that Second Republic. Yes. Third Republic, we fused it. Kakra. This Fourth Republic, and the fusion is greater. Modeling it on an American and a British system. It's a long-standing debate, and I don't get unduly worried if intellectuals and statesmen express their opinions on those things. As we speak, there are still people who even think they hear second chamber, which was something Council of State was perceived as such. Committee of experts were reporting. The consultative assembly deliberations, and those arguments came up. And the compromise was that, look, let's have a Council of State rather than a second chamber. In fact, President Kufuor at one stage advocated for that, so many things. Intellectual exercising our brains over those things, I'm not bothered. But I still think that what we have now is fit for purpose. It is how those we elect go about managing the powers they've been given. I'm not too sure they able to make any serious amendments to the powers we've given to the executive president to the extent that will be changed. Into the Constitution Review Commission, what can one MP? At the end of the day, they didn't depart too much. Into it's a matter of let's have a debate. Let's agree to disagree. It's as simple as that. The interesting go for pick one aspect, that culture of silence. Before I deal with that, and this on your comprehensive analysis because we are just skirting around it.
We now have a new set of topics.
Yes, that was exactly. There's an area B about the assault on the democratic credentials or space in terms of the military intrusion into the chambers of parliament. I condemned it way back, the very day it happened. Into the chambers, I thought that intrusion was unwarranted and should not have happened. But then Uncle Sam proceeds on that to say it is the greatest assault since 1992. And then he makes the point, and that's the critical, that there has been no investigations or nothing at all is happening. I disagree there. Check the vetting of the 3 security ministers, National Security Minister, Defense Minister, Interior Minister. All those issues were raised. And I think the Defense Minister and the National Security Minister indicated that the military have begun investigations into that matter. And it was pressed that if the investigation is completed, would the report be made available to the House? And he said yes. So I disagree with anybody who says nothing at all has happened. First of all, 3 top security ministers have been grilled on the issue on the floor of the House. At the Appointments Committee.
Appointments Committee.
To be precise. One answers. In fact, I think Kandapa even disclosed virtually who gave the command. Check I, because Ankesan makes the point about that there was no Minister of Defense, there was no, and this institution works by command, and that's true. But at the vetting, we got to know who, at least the minister nominee then, the designate then, now substantive, pointed the finger at the commander of the day in Chemitai, because there was a joint police military presence, and there was nothing wrong with that, because you're going to inaugurate the speaker, you're going to inaugurate parliament, and you're going to inaugurate the president the following day. They had a security architecture that involved the military within the presence of parliament. It's a distinction from that. There's a distinction between the chamber and the wider space of parliament. The military presence that day was permissible and allowed. They were part of a security architecture. Now, going into the chambers, I thought was a little bit too much, and I don't think it was it was necessary. But again, the conduct of MPs that day in the chamber itself, how dignified was it? These are throwing, pushing ballot boxes away, stealing a ballot box. Let me put it that was a criminal offense. I mean, a member of parliament, not a member of parliament, ballot papers, they did one.
Member of parliament elect.
Yes, I agree. Precision. Can you believe that? The conduct, it was unimaginable. So those things warranted some intervention. But you see, in parliament, it's a marshal. It's a marshal.
Yeah.
Marshals of parliament.
Yes, and they have a team.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a police detachment at the Parliament House now for some time, for many years now. There's a whole police station or detachment, if you like, inside the presence, or police parliament and other matters. It could have been done with some finesse. I have to be honest with you. It will raise the issue, all right, but I think he didn't have sufficient information as to what had taken place, or was unfolding, in the sense that if you say there's been no attempt to investigate and that everybody is kept quiet on that particular aspect, no. Official records, parliamentary records will indicate that 3 security ministers were queried on that matter. They gave answers. The most important answers was the fact that the military high command had instituted an investigation, and it's important that we follow up. Even parliament must follow up. We, the media, must follow up. And the ministers pledged, especially the national security minister, or pledged there, when the investigations have ended, he will make the report available to the House. That side, too, I disagree with him. Now, the question of culture of silence.
Making the report available to the House, you disagree with Uncle Sam?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. That's what I'm saying there.
But Kweku, Kwame is on comedy, so.
Of
course,
time record. Remember time.
Yeah, Shade.
I mean, so many seriously.
Yeah, Shade.
Hashtag Fish Ghana. Hashtag.
Oh, yeah, Ben, I'm not
the
child. Comedy, yes. And Kweku, yeah, Shade. Sir, man or quay, my members of parliament elect, man or quay. One would make on the floor. Kay often a poll booth, where kay often a ballot box, kiki, running at one another, heckling, all of that. So, or degenerate, and it was possible, or degenerate into something else, or fisticuffs, beyond fisticuffs. It must appear in the Wubema. Nature, because Marshall Sharike. I mean, Shamasha Nanga Mada was the end. And your man don't go from crowd, Chadahunde, and Noyago. And the marshals, I'm asking whether they had the capacity, and they do have the capacity. There's a BB Dam record or parliamentar, about 2 months of the Oyena Bar.
The military element is where I'm emphasizing. It was an overkill, it was needlessly intrusive. It ought not to have happened.
So you would not have had a problem if it was the police?
Because the police, like I'm saying, the police have even a detachment on the parliamentary.
This whole thing was a security
architecture,
and they were all part of it.
But the killing, you are talking of possible incidents.
Yes.
It could have arisen out of even the inclusion of the military elements.
Going into the chamber.
Yes, it could have arisen out of that. So it was not like a perfect cure. In fact, it was not a good cure. For as far as I'm concerned, it was not a good cure. Look, they could have handled that situation. The marshals and the police could have handled it if indeed it degenerated into blows. I didn't see that. What I saw was the misbehavior.
And that was not possible?
Well, now you are talking possibility. You are asking me to interrogate a
because
hypothesis.
it was truncated. Truncated by the presence of the
you are
military.
inviting us to interrogate a hypothesis.
That which did not happen.
Exactly, man. And I find it difficult. Most scene was disgraceful, optically unacceptable. I mean, the optics were terrible. For even the nation, the state of Ghana. First, with the conduct of the MPs, and then, of course, the intrusion of military police thing. They were booed out of the chambers.
Yes.
But that self was collateral damage of a sort. That was not good for the image of that security team that went in. Let me be honest with you. They could have handled it with finesse. I'm not about to defend what happened on that day. It was so disgraceful. I'm a student of parliamentary history. Parliament is my favorite arm of government.
But Kweku, I thought that whilst this matter is investigated, that the intrusion of the police into the chamber.
Yeah.
I mean, we also serve Parliament itself and the entire country a certain level of good. If their conduct, what they did, is also investigated and becomes a report that could be referred to any time. They were on their own playground. And therefore, most sitting now, and you were saying that was optically
in fact, the minority for they will move a motion or they will ask Parliament to investigate. Now, of course, we are going to ask Parliament to investigate itself. People raise even some legitimate questions with that. But whatever it is, it's a military full investigations into the way the military was drawn into the chamber. And they need to do that because chain of command so important.
That's right.
All that they need to do that to learn lessons from it. Next time, how do we manage such a delicate situation? Same way, I agree. If the parliamentary conduct, the conduct of MPs elect then, could also be a subject of inquiry. I don't have a problem with that.
All right.
Finito.
Peace FM 104.3. Good to meet you.